Welcome back, everybody, to the Serial Chillers podcast. This is episode 31, season 2. We've made it. Yeah. As always, co-host Greg is going to be joining me across the internet. I've got one returning guest in John and his brother Steven. Very stoked to have these guys. We've been friends for 20 plus years. Today's serial killer is Robert Lee Yates. Plenty of you have heard of him. Plenty of you are going to hate him by the time this is said and done. In addition to my story, John has another first-hand law enforcement story for you, so I'm excited to hear about that. And thanks for being patient after the holiday break. You guys sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 31 of the Serial Chillers podcast. All right. Ready up there, buddy?
Yeah, hold on. I gotta. Let me get in airplane mode real quick.
Oh, so no?
No, not at all.
All right, well, shit. Welcome to episode 31 of 1 million of the Serial Chillers podcast, season 2. You guys may not have known this until right now. Because of a technical error, you guys are the season 2 premiere. Congratulations. You just became part of a premiere episode and you didn't even fucking know it. So, episode 31, you guys have some cards here to answer and maybe possibly the return of an artistic challenge. I don't know. You keep those for yourself and we'll see what happens. Okay. Season 2 is here. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. It's a week late and I took 5 weeks off, but, you know, there's things that happen sometimes. So, I am here with one returning guest, John, who brought you a horribly disgusting cat story in one of my very echoey episodes. Welcome back, John.
Thank you. Returning champion, too.
Yes.
Show me the goddamn respect I deserve.
He did get I believe, an R2-D2 Pez dispenser.
As a matter of fact,
he's brought it back.
He's going to be parting ways with that tonight.
There's too many carbs on this. I'm on the keto diet. And
Okay.
I didn't think about that until I grabbed it and brought. So if you guys want to have some of my Pez, you're more than welcome.
Look at that. He brought the belt back. So, sitting to my left,
Like crunchy candy.
sitting to my left, John's right. These guys are going to probably have plenty of fighting words tonight because they are brothers. Steve, what up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for bringing me on your murder porn show.
Yeah. It's wonderful to have you, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I've actually known both of these dudes for a very long time, and Greg as well. We actually, believe it or not, the four of us in this room all went to the same elementary school. And up there in the sky, producer Greg. But before I play this, well, they can't see you, but Greg sits up on a shelf on the computer now. When
like Elf on a Shelf.
So when there's guests in the studio, Greg is up there, Elf on a shelving. So, Greg, I wanted to talk to you about something as being the producer this whole time.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, well, since you don't do anything as a producer, I thought it would be good to give you a promotion where you didn't have to do anything, give you a new title with it. The theme song doesn't change, but you are now co-host Greg.
Hey, all right.
Dang.
A promotion. I was afraid I was getting fired. I was
Well,
like, shit.
I was going to say, this is about to get really fucking awkward.
Believe it or not, that was a flip of the coin before it started. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to mix it up. I'm either going to promote him or get this shit rolling. So, yes. Do you accept the promotion? I guess I should ask. You should never assume that somebody's going to accept the promotion.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, let's say it's a temporary yes, and I'm a free agent, and I'd like to keep my options open. We'll
sign you
a higher paying gig come along, but we can negotiate that kind of stuff.
We'll sign you to a deal for the rest of the season.
So you're like a sneaker free agent. You can just wear different sneakers each different game and stuff, kind of wear a different shoe.
Greg's always wearing Big Baller brand.
After this episode, I'm going to have the decision 2018, and who knows.
So, Greg knows how the show works. You guys also know how the show works. I'm going to let everybody who doesn't know. It's that each week I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer. Throughout the show, you guys will chime in on my story and have stories of your own that are true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious, or they happen to yourself. Lastly, if you have questions about questions, make sure to ask questions because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never ask questions. Are there any questions?
Nope.
Dudes, there are 9 questions today, including the return of the artistic challenge. So, welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. today's serial killer. Have you guys heard of Robert Lee Yates?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a name that has been out there. This guy, I use the term fuckface a lot, I feel like, but it just seems to sit so well in describing a lot of these guys. And Robert Lee Yates, grade A fuckface. Just true fuckface. So before I dive into it, because we normally jump right to question number 1, but I've got a little preamble to Robert Lee Yates. In 1945, his grandmother supposedly killed his grandfather with an axe. Novella Johnson Yates spent time in a Tennessee mental institution after the October 19th, 1945 bludgeoning death of John Taylor Yates, who was a farmer. She was charged with felonious assault, but records can't be found to show whether she was ever convicted of the crime. The Southern Standard reported in its Sunday editions that she had been found guilty, but again, there are no records. The newspaper is published in McMinnville, Tennessee, near Nashville, and the newspaper account doesn't say whether Robert Yates ever met his late grandmother. So just, I get you a little family history before we get there.
Have you ever noticed how like law is super phallic? Like if you think about like felony, you call it like felonious. It sounds like fellatio, or there's like the penal code.
I hadn't thought of that, but now I will never not be able to think of it.
As soon as you said felonious, I forgot everything you said, and I was thinking, man, there's a lot of...
Hey, penises are funny.
It's not, you're not completely incorrect. So, guys, you've got your cards. Question number 1. In what year is Robert Lee Yates born? Got a little bit of a clue with the pre. I don't know if the felonious threw you out of the year.
I got thrown off.
Yeah, write down your answers. What do you guys got? Let's see what you got. Show me what you got. 47. Oh, Steve says 62. Robert Lee Yates was born May 27th, 1952. John gets the points. He was born in Anacortes, Washington, to Anna Mae and Robert Lee Yates Sr.
Anna Mae?
Anna Mae. I've gone over this outline 45 times, and I hadn't thought of that once. John's going to strike first with 250 points. There are 8 questions to go, you guys. Don't worry. Co-host Greg will have the honor at the end. When we have the return of the artistic challenge, it could turn the whole fucking tide, because he will decide the winner of the artistic challenge, and today it'll be worth 500 points. When we get to it, I'll let you know kind of what we got going on. So
just remember, you're playing to play to your judge.
Yes. Don't forget to play to your
Also,
judge.
I accept bribes. You're not going to win anything from this show, but I accept bribes anyway.
You take Bitcoin?
I'm going to keep to the theme, and it's just
No,
gonna be
I'm
super
curious. I want to get
drawn.
into that. So yeah, hit me with some.
All right. Yeah.
However you do that. Mail me some or some shit.
Mail me some or some
I was
shit.
just trying to.
It's like, is that how it works?
I don't know.
So Robert Lee Yates is born in 1952 in Anacortes, Washington. At the age of 6 and 58, he may have been molested or sexually assaulted by an older neighborhood boy. This is kind of one of those things where we see where maybe.
Humble beginnings.
Yes, exactly. In 65, at the age of 13, his Japanese mother, Anna Mae,
It doesn't say Japanese, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, I was going to say, that's so fucking great.
In 1965, Anna Mae Yates and Robert... I'm just really funny, John. Anna Mae Yates and Robert Lee Yates Sr. are baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Oak Harbor. In 1970, Robert Lee Yates graduates from Oak Harbor High School. So we're rolling through here. You can kind of see, a lot of times I have 5 pages about childhood, like, yeah, his mom plugged him in the butt. And like, there's tons and tons of random things that normally I have, and it's tons to research. For Robert Lee Yates, I was like, yeah, it's fine. He grew up okay. He graduated high school. He did better than a lot of us.
Might have been diddled when he was 5, but I mean, who
Possibly. It doesn't seem to have negatively affected him yet, but nonetheless, fall 1970, he decides to go to Skagit Valley Community College, which is voted the most beautiful community college name in the United States, Skagit Valley. While he's there in the fall of 1970, he meets Shirley Nylander, who's from Fall City. In August of 1972, he marries Shirley Nylander in Fall City at the Seventh-day Adventist Church he's been going to since his parents were baptized in. In October that very same year, he enrolls at Walla Walla College at a Seventh-day Adventist school, majoring in pre-med. This fool's going to be a doctor, yo.
Was that in Walla Walla, Washington?
Yeah, Bugs Bunny would be proud. By the time he drops out, he has almost enough credits to be a junior there. In March of 74, Nylander and Yates separate, and he stays at College Place, the home of Walla Walla College. She moves home to Fall City with her parents. In May of 74, Nylander finally files for divorce. Yates leaves Walla Walla College without his degree, like I said, just about enough credits to be a junior. In June of 1974, Yates and Linda Brewer of Benton County apply in Walla Walla County for a marriage license. This fool's just getting them done, setting up franchises. A new love for Yates, and things are blossoming. In July of that same year, Yates and Brewer marry in Walla Walla County, and his divorce from Nylander is not even yet final. So his current marriage will be annulled just a few weeks later. In August of 74, he goes and gets the goddamn paper signed and gets his shit together. Divorce is final from Nylander. She takes back her maiden name. Good move. And in December of 1974, Linda Yates gives birth to their first daughter, Sasha. The couple have 3 more children along the way. And in May of 1975, Yates gets an Associate of Arts degree from Skagit Valley. He went back and got that AA, you guys. Yeah!
In liberal arts.
Yeah, bro. He's out there killing the game.
Really using that.
So right after he gets that AA, he put it to use. In July of 1975, he takes a job as a prison guard in Walla Walla. At least he's doing something, right?
At least I'm finding something that actually piques my interest, because everything else is just pretty vanilla, and I just want to know that he got corrupted by someone that was in prison, just kind of fucked with his head.
Well, he gets the job in Walla Walla prison, and he seems to be settling in. He's not at the job long, but he seems to be quite comfortable. He's out target practicing one day near the prison, from what I understand. Somewhere he's out shooting in some fields, and there are these people out, Patrick Oliver and Susan Savage, who are out picnicking in the area, and he kind of gets interested by the situation, realizes he's kind of out there alone. They're kind of out there. He is almost sure no one knows that they're out there, and he's got this gun. So Patrick Oliver and Susan Savage, who are 21 and 22, cross paths with Yates while they were walking out. It's Mill Creek, just east of Walla Walla, and they became his first 2 known victims. So there's not a lot of evidence, or sorry, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of evidence to show how they died, because by the time he gave up, or the body, he never said how he killed them, but by the time the bodies were found, that I think the decomp had gone too far to give a cause of death.
Right. Well, it really depends. He was out there with a gun, so one would assume that, but they didn't sustain like a GSW to the head or anything like that.
Nothing that I could find showed any definitive cause of death.
Right. So,
and I don't ever want to get. There's definitely ones that said he shot him in the face, but it was one website.
If they said it's unconclusive, then it was probably like a strangulation or something anything else. But if you get shot, you kind of know.
Yeah. So
unless it was only soft tissue damage.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be pretty hard to strangle 2 people at the same time, but I'd be willing to try.
I think I saw that in a movie one time.
two strangles at the same time.
I think that was Batman.
No, I thought it was
not too many people who pull that one.
I thought it was going to be a David Carradine home movie.
Well, that's strangling somebody else and yourself at the same time. That's
My
not quite
Vacation
as
with
impressive.
Robin Williams.
Hey, you just said choking 2 people at the same time. So
You're right. I should have specified.
So
Anyway.
he seems to have gotten nervous after this, because he only lasts at the prison job for 4 months. After this, he takes on a couple menial jobs in the meantime. This is going to bring us to question number 2. This one could be potentially worth 500 points. Of these 4 jobs that I'm going to list to you, which 2 does Yates do next? He's going to get both of these jobs and work them at the same time. We've got 4 options. 2 of them are correct. Is he a theater usher, a hospital janitor, a factory worker, or did he get a newspaper route? You can give me A, B, C, and D on those. A, theater usher. B, hospital janitor. C, factory worker. D, got a newspaper route. All right, what do we got here, boys?
Say no more quotes, because if you do, we have to pay now.
Yeah. Steve says B and D.
I said A and B.
John says A and B, theater usher and hospital janitor. Well, you guys both got B. I'll give you that. So you're both getting 250. The other answer is A. John. Nice. John's going to get 500 points on this one.
Bitch.
He's rolling. John up 750 to 250 after these two questions. All right. All right. I see you. I see you.
Using your thought process, I mean, they're both jobs you can do some fucked up shit in.
And probably for the most part, be completely left alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe factory worker or news. Yeah,
But I mean, factory worker, it's so secluded. You don't have the public going in there, and you're going to really want to fuck with someone in the public.
Yeah, that's
considering the topic of the podcast.
Maybe. You seem like you have some knowledge in deducing. In July of 1976, Robert and Linda Yates have another wedding ceremony in Oak Harbor with her parents as the witnesses. They are now officially married. Ain't no one annulling this one. Consummate. It gets to go. On an October of 1976, Anna Mae Yates, his mother, dies after a long bout with cancer.
After a long bout with Frieza.
In 1977,
That's an anime joke.
in case you didn't follow,
Yeah.
his life was not heading in the direction that he thought it might. So, question number 3, Yates enlists in which branch of the military?
I choose Air Force.
Air Force?
I choose Navy.
All right, you both are going home empty-handed because in
Brian.
1977, Robert Yates enlists in the Army.
Ah, shit.
So
I wasn't even... Yeah.
that wasn't even on the.
Well, I mean, of course,
Docket
I
for
gave
you.
it a thought because, I mean, there's not that many armed forces. But I'm like, man, if he's going to do something, I mean, on a ship,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Like, fucking Navy.
Because of the implications.
I mean,
So in
blame that on the
1980,
village people.
after he's been in the military for some time, he goes through and he's actually a pretty model soldier. In 1980, he attends Warrant Officer Basic Course to become a helicopter pilot. So he's kind of going to start building a little bit of a military career here. We're going to take a quick break right here. We'll come back. We'll run through John's story. I'm very curious. I told him not to tell me shit about it, so I'm scared too. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So we'll come back after this. Make sure you come back or I'll kill you. All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 31, season premiere. What? I don't want to get too deep into anything else until I hear this goddamn story from John. We probably just did like a 15 or 20 minute break, and we don't even actually normally take breaks, but I'm reminiscing with my homies, damn it. And I wouldn't let John get a word out about it. So I'm not gonna get too much into anything here, John. Tell me this story.
Okay. So, as if you remember my voice, because besides my first name is all you've heard, and I've
Right.
seen that you have other Johns on the podcast. I am a law enforcement officer, so I get to kind of see more than the public. I'm just going to start from the beginning. I'm not going to Tarantino it or anything like that. I'm just going to tell everything that was done in the investigation leading up until my part, and I don't know how it finished because it was transferred over to a different department. So, all right, so over here in our town, we're getting an Amazon building. They're going to be doing like shipments and all that other stuff from it. And so it's getting built, and they already have security out there because they have like other businesses out there. I can't remember the other one that's going in there with them. I want to say it's other distribution hubs and all that other stuff.
I think an Ulta is going in out
Yeah,
there.
they're going in out there, and I want to say like there was talks of something with like Google or something like that too, which would be cool, especially if we get Google Fiber.
Yes.
But this in particular, there was someone. His name was I won't say his last name. His first name was Mike. It's so generic. It's fine.
Perfect.
And And plus, the story's pretty unique. They're going to know who I'm talking about if anyone has any idea what it is. So Mike is a college student in Fresno State, and he works security for some extra money at this Amazon building. Mike, unbeknownst to everyone at his job site, has been diagnosed with a mental disorder. Don't know exactly what it is or if it was given a specific diagnosis, but he's definitely got one. He gets on their radios and he tells the crew, says, "Hey, is Mike bugging anyone else? Because I'll take care of him for you guys if you'd like." And everyone's like, "What the fuck you talking about, Mike? Go back to work." I didn't think anything of it. 30 minutes go by and said, "Hey, everyone, I got to take off. Jesus just told me to cut my penis off." So that's how we're starting this story.
Why wouldn't he?
Right.
Because
That's full of sin. Get rid of it.
that's the word. That
Right.
was the 11th commandment, the one they don't talk about as much.
This is
That's the
one
one
where you have
Moses
to-
refused to bring down from the mountain.
He left that up on the mountain.
So I'm trying to, should I tell like everything that happened?
You
like,
do. You tell whatever you want, man.
The whole dick and balls. Let's go.
like I said, I don't know if I want to do it like Tarantino or if I want to go like what he actually did, like, or like the gap in time. I'm just doing the gap in time.
All
It
right.
just works. So he took off. No one knows where he went. No one sees him as far as anyone knows from the job site or know what he's doing until about 2 hours later or so, when he parks his vehicle in the median of the 41 and 180 freeways where they intersect, and he runs out into traffic in front of a vehicle that's going approximately 70 to 75 miles per hour with 3 occupants. They hit him, and the 3 of them are left in critical condition. Like the people that are inside, and he's gone, of course. You get hit by a car.
Eviscerated.
Yeah, so he loses some body parts, as what happens when you get hit by a vehicle like that fast. And so they recovered all his parts. It's a CHP thing, since they go out there to the freeway. They pick up all his parts and they bring them to the coroner's office. Coroner's taking a look at them. And again, like I said, for you to lose a few appendages is totally not natural when you get, well, I mean, as far as natural as getting hit by a car is.
Right.
So they're checking him out, and they notice that he's like a Ken doll. He doesn't have a dick, right? So they take a look at him. They're like, yeah, this isn't as a result of being from an impact, because it happens in impacts.
Right.
The coroner I spoke to said so, but this was way too clean a cut. They're like, no, this guy had no dick when he got hit by this car.
Oh my god.
Okay, so the investigation begins. They're trying to find out what this dude's deal is. He's not originally from Fresno. He's from out of state, and he comes into town. He came into town to go to school. No one knows where he lives because he's not listed anywhere. Fresno State, he even put his home address out of town, I believe. Or no, it was another address that he had moved from. He had recently moved into his new spot, and no one knew where it was. So no one could find anything out.
Wow.
3 days later, the coroner's office, or I don't remember which department got the call, but they had came and said, "Hey, our roommate cut off his dick and he left it in his room. Can someone come and get it?"
Oh my.
And then further talking with him, I guess they had seen him. I'm trying not to ruin like the whole like crescendo and the build up or whatever, but I mean, you already know what's going to happen. I mean,
Right.
like the guy, he didn't have it. He cut his own dick off.
Yeah.
So I mean, so
Let's
however
be
we get
blunt
there
here.
is just, yeah, I'm just trying to think if I could just do like the flow of how to do this. I've told the story so many times, but in so many different variations. So essentially what happened, just to cut to the quick, I get a call from the coroner, says that they need assistance to go pick up a body part from the house. And all this stuff that I've told you before, I had no idea what it is. I just see in the call that says, "Hey, you need to go to this place and go pick up a body part." I'm like, what the fuck?
A body part.
Right. And so mine is just going crazy. I'm like, what the fuck body part could
What
this
am I
be?
about to goddamn walk
And
into?
it said an appendage. And so you don't really know. It could be an arm. It could be a finger.
Right.
It could be a hand. It could be a foot. It could be a dick. When I first read it, I'm like, that's a dick. For whatever reason, I was like, that is a fucking dick. And so we go, and the coroner meets up with me. He's like, "Hey, man," he's got a big smile on his face. I'm like, "It's a dick." And he's like, "It's a dick." And so he tells me that whole story. He says, "Yeah, you know, what I've told you guys so far." He says, and apparently what had happened was he went home from working security, goes into his house. So alongside in my head, I'm picturing what we did. We go inside the house and we open up his room. We find it. First thing you see is on the bed, there's a pool of blood. Probably less than what I'd assume there'd be for someone cutting off their dick, but I mean a pool of blood nonetheless. There's a pile of pubes and a buzzer, like hair buzzers on the ground, so at least he was clean about it. I thought that was kind of funny.
You don't want to get an infection.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I don't leave any hair in the wound.
yeah, right. And there was 3 kitchen knives and a pair of scissors.
Oh, he had to go at it.
And all of them were bloody. And on the bed was a Bible that was open, and there was like just nonsense gibberish written in them, just pages, just nonsense and all that other stuff. And there on his nightstand, in one complete package, not in pieces or whatever, dick, balls, and scrotum. And so when the coroner picked him up, he picked it up, and it was all in one piece, put it right in the bag. So what he had told me, what his roommates had saw was he went inside and, without any kind of painkillers or anything like that, just went straight from went home, went to the kitchen to grab the knives and the scissors. They didn't know that's what he did, but he went to the kitchen, went into his room, closed it, and started working on it. Just doing it right. Screaming and pain and stuff. Roommates, he's got a lock on his door, knock and say, "Hey, is everything okay in there?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah." And I guess they believed him. And so continued on until he finished the job. And then I don't know if it was something of regret or just how do you top,
right.
that shit. So he walked out of his room, and before you can leave the house, you have to walk through or right near the living area. And this dude walking out with just a t-shirt on, no pants, like a fucking bloody dickless Winnie the Pooh. And his whole all his roommates see this shit.
It's a little redundant,
right? And he goes out into his car and parks on the freeway, and runs in front of vehicles and kills himself and hurts 3 other people. So
fuck him for that part of it. For sure.
I mean, there's a huge mental health thing, problem in our town, that a lot of people don't see. And so when I see this whole thing, of course it's super fucked up. And I mean, I'm so young in my career as it is. And then I see something like that. I'm like, fuck, there's no topping this. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I saw a dick on a nightstand that wasn't attached to a human being. It's and it was,
it was not made of silicone.
No, and then everyone has to ask.
Enough, man.
Everyone's like, "Oh, what did it look like?" And I'm like, "I mean, I walked out of there a little taller, if that's what you mean."
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed. But
that's it.
Now I see why he did it.
Yeah. So I thought that was going to be the end of it, because it's, as bizarre as it is or whatever, everything that was there just kind of screamed mental health.
A little paranoid, delusional.
We had statements from the sister that she had said, "Oh no, he wouldn't have ever done anything like this before." So did he have a mental? Yeah, but he wasn't taking his meds and stuff. I'm like, okay. You go inside the room, there's just crazy gibberish drawings
Bibles
and stuff, right? And so everything's kind of lining up, and it just yeah, I got what's going on. Well, seeing as that. When he finally ceased to live was on the freeway, it was transferred over to CHP.
Mm-hmm.
So I am out with my buddy at full disclosure. We were playing Pokemon Go.
Nice.
And we were at the park, and there's this fucking birthday party, just because it makes the story funnier.
Right.
There's kids running around. And so we're going and we're doing a gym battle or whatever. And this was a little while ago, but I'm only telling that story because it's funny, because the CHP officer calls me and he wants to talk about this. So I'm talking about a fucking dismembered dick, and there's kids running around and shit like this. I'm talking about it's just kind of funny. That's the only reason why I was so self-deprecating. Yeah, I played Pokemon Go a lot longer than everyone else did.
It's cool. I play too. Okay,
so I'm not anyway. But The hilarious thing about this guy is that he wanted to make like a mountain out of a molehill. He was like, no, man, I got this whole theory that like it's roommates. Oh, man, it took them 3 days to say something. You don't think that's weird? I'm like, I mean, people are fucking stupid. I don't know how long you've been doing this job, but there's just people that like don't use their freaking head, and like common sense is just fucking lacking. And that's what I kind of took this as. I'm like, yeah, you saw him running out, but I mean, I don't know if he was focusing to see if he had a dick. Like, they just knew his bloody bare ass and ran out outside. I mean, who knows, whatever. But he was, like, trying to make it sound like, oh, I think they're doing ritualistic cult stuff in there. I'm like, come on, man.
It's the satanic panic.
Right, and so he's...
It's an inside job, man.
And so he's, like, really trying to drum it up and, like, do this investigation. He's like, yeah, I'm like... my sergeant said I can have lead on this investigation. I'm like, well, goddamn, Columbo, like this, like, fucking calm your tits. Like this, like, it's not as deep as you think it is. Like, honestly, this guy had, like, because CHP just doesn't handle stuff like that. Like, crazy people, like, they're AAA with a gun. Yeah. So, I mean,
dang.
Shots fired.
So now you know what officers in town think of the CHP officers.
Nah, that's just, I have friends that are CHP, and we all say it, just like how military gets each other.
And we talk
shit.
slower when we talk to them.
But yeah, he was really trying to drum it up, and he was trying to make it something that it wasn't. And so I just thought that was kind of comical.
I love the like satanic panic of it. Like, dude, I'm pretty sure. I think I got this,
especially
man.
Since he was like trying to convince me. He was like, man, think about it. I was like, oh, fuck, man. Like, now you're going to tell him. He's like, the chemtrails made him do it. I was like, dude, Jesus Christ. Like, this weird, like, it was because he finally got to sink his teeth in something that was super interesting and just super bizarre.
Why
and
not glom onto that?
Yeah, I mean, like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was hilarious. But yeah, exactly how I said. I think that it was just someone that unfortunately had a chemical imbalance going on and probably not enough resources around him to take care of that. Yep. Being a college student and away from home and all that other shit.
And just a devout Christian. Jesus told him to do it.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling out there, reach out. People do want to help you. It's true.
All jokes
but when
aside,
you reach out, don't reach for knives or scissors.
Yes. All jokes aside, I mean, if you're feeling like that, I mean, try and look for a support system, whether it's friends or family or the suicide hotline. I don't remember the number. Just listen to that Logic song. I think he says it in that.
Yep, he does.
Or Google.
Or Google. Yeah, just, whatever. You know, it's like real. It's real. Yeah. It is real. And I've actually gotten a little shit because I have definitely been insensitive to some mental illnesses at time because it does bring out the worst in some people. And it's unfair to judge some people by their actions that they're not in control of. So I'm trying to be more wary of that.
And everything is so hot right now because like the Logan Paul situation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I laugh about it and like, oh man, it's a fucked up story and shit. You have no idea like that how bad that fucked me up. I've seen plenty of dead bodies and all of this stuff, and it's not super fun. It's not fun at all. And so you gotta find some humor in it.
Right.
And that's kind of how I did it, tell the story. But at no point in time did I
enjoy the situation.
No, I mean, like, it's a fucked up story and it's interesting to tell, but I mean, it is what it is.
It was fucked up, but a great telling. Thank you, John. Thank you. The applause is not for the story itself. It was for the wonderful telling of it.
Right. Does that top the cat story?
Yeah, it does. Because cat fucking is gross, for sure. There's no doubt. But
and you said he grabbed the knives and scissors and stuff before he went into the room, right?
I would assume so. I don't know if he kept like 3 sets of like 3 knives.
Well, I meant like he didn't make trips. He didn't like get halfway through his dick and then be like,
I was like, I'm gonna need another knife.
A little tougher. I need to go get the one that has the serrated blade. I'll be right back.
I mean, I can't say for sure because I didn't speak with the roommates. That was all done by like the coroner and stuff. So there might have been some trips or whatever. As far as I could tell, is that they heard noises coming from, they knocked, wouldn't come out, and he kind of did it in one swoop.
Rough.
I mean, without breaks. He didn't take a coffee break or a breather.
He just went for it. Got it all done.
Stopped halfway through for a cigarette.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Question number 4 is not a question at all. It is the beginning of the artistic challenge that will be judged by Greg at the end for 500 points. You don't have to start drawing now. Just at the end, I'd like to see your best Robert Lee Yates without you seeing Robert Lee Yates. I'm going to describe him a little more. You got some pictures for it, and we'll throw it up to Greg for 500 points. Remember, you are playing to your judge. This is going to be completely biased decision, so it is for 500 and could decide the game. So someone better take a 750-point lead, or it could come down to your drawing. So that's what you got. You can do it on the back of one of those, on the front if you need the lines, however you want to do it, guys. So if you guys will remember, it is 1980, and Yates has just attended that warrant officer basic course to become a helicopter pilot. So he's advancing this military career that he has began. In October of 81 to February of 84, he is a helicopter pilot in the 503rd Aviation Unit in Europe. So we've got some things that are going to happen right here. They are almost all him advancing in the military. He's becoming quite the go-to guy. In February of 84 to October of 84, he is a support aviator in the Brigade Support Company, Aviation Training Brigade in Fort Rucker, Alabama, the Army's Flight Training Center. In October of 84 to 87, he is a support aviator in a different unit in Fort Rucker. While there, he learns to teach soldiers to fly Huey helicopters. In October of 87 to May of 88, Yates is the support aviator and standardization pilot at Fort Rucker. He takes an advanced aviator course, and during the school year, Sasha Yates, his oldest daughter, was enrolled in the middle school at Walla Walla. So he's setting up shop. This is like a family man.
Settling in.
He's settling in. He's committed those crimes years ago at this point, but that's kind of how we see it happen with a lot. This cool down period that can last, even decades sometimes. So he's falling in line with a lot of the, normal things we see, but he's also, led a very normal childhood. He didn't have it too rough. So it's just kind of interesting to see how things fall in line for some of these guys or girls. Eileen Wernos had it real bad too. It's not really clear where Linda Yates is at this time, his wife and children. Just the fact that they're doing their thing, he's doing his thing. I think he was definitely job first, second, and third, and I send you a check. So he was away quite a bit. Stacy Elizabeth Hahn, who is 23, is believed to be the first sex worker killed by Yates. Yates told investigators he killed Hahn, who was last seen alive in Seattle on July 7th, 1988. Her skeletal remains were found 5 months later in Skagit County. Question number 5. He has killed 3 so far. How many deaths will he be charged with when it's all said and done? We're talking accused of and charged with in court. 3 so far. How many? Since we're 250 points, what do we got here, guys?
Went with 7.
I went with 8.
All right, just one above. He prices righted you. So the Price is Right helped a lot because he's killed 3 so far. By the time we're said and done, he's going to be charged with 15 murders.
Ooh.
Yeah, so just so you know, we've got a little bit more to cover here as we get rolling.
Gonna ramp up, hopefully.
So John, starting out pretty hot here. What do we got here? 1,000 to 250. We've got 5 questions.
750-point lead.
Yep, we've got that. We've got 5 questions remaining. 4 questions remaining. 4 questions in an artistic challenge to be judged. Plenty of time to do a lot of things. So, in May of 88 to May of 91, Yates teaches soldiers to fly the helicopters and serves as the 1st Infantry Division in Göppingen, Germany. Fuck that. God damn it. I'm going to get hate for that. In 1990, he returns to the United States to take a survival course. In May of 91 to June of 96, he is a platoon leader. He teaches soldiers to fly Kiowa helicopters in the 3rd Battalion, 25th Aviation Regiment, Assault Helicopter Battalion in Fort Drum, New York. He takes another warrant officer course, and he goes to Somalia in late 92 to early 93. He takes vacation in September of 94 to buy a white 1977 Corvette from Sarah Marsh in Walla Walla, Washington. he has to rush back to New York to go to Haiti right after this. So it's just nonstop. Like, I'd usually try to like go very chronologically and then try to like make some sort of like story flow to it. But he was he was in the military, so it was very regimented, obviously. And that's just how it is. It's like, here's what he did, here's what he did, here's what he did. Like, there's no transitions. There's not a whole lot about him other than just his military accolades and the fact that he bought this fucking, I'm assuming, pretty sweet Corvette. So he goes to Haiti in July of 95 and 96. He's a flight leader in the 1st Battalion, 212th Aviation Regiment at Fort Rucker, Alabama once more. In March of 96, he's a Chief Warrant Officer 4, the highest rank he could attain at the time. He accepts an early retirement from the Army with about $20,000 a year in retirement pay. At this point, he has 32 and a half days of unused leave. So it's kind of a weird thing. His family questions it. Even some of his superior officers are like, why are you leaving? He was only like 2 years from getting full retirement. He had all these crazy days of leave backed up that he could have just taken it and kind of relax. And instead he just takes his $20,000 a year retirement early and gets out of the military. In April of 1996, Yates moves to Spokane without a job and rents a house with his wife and 5 children. The 4 youngest children enroll in the public school system, and he is unemployed for several months. In September of 96, he is hired to assemble circuit boards at Pantrol, a Spokane company. In April of 1997, he joins the Washington National Guard as Chief Warrant Officer 4, assigned to a company, 1st Battalion, 185th Aviation, a component of the 66th Aviation Brigade headquarters at Fort Lewis near Tacoma. Falling in between all of this, Jennifer Joseph, a sex worker who was aged 16, has her body found August 26th, 97. It was found in a high state of decomposition in an out-of-the-way rural setting. The cause of death was a gunshot wound to the chest. DNA from semen found in her body was matched to Yates. A fake pearl button from the shirt that was found lodged under the seat of a Corvette formerly owned by Yates would lead to the suspect's arrest. So he doesn't. It's an early DNA time. This guy was not trying to hide a lot. I think that line about DNA from semen being found inside a body that's matched to him, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be on every single victim that we have. So, and another thing is Yates doesn't really he's not one of those serial killers who sits down and gives you the full detail about strangled her till seen her eyes pop out, and he doesn't really give you much. All we really have, and the way I did it, was just letting us know that when we found the body and the condition and what it was in and what it looks like. So yes, Robert Lee Yates, again, like I said at the top, fuckface, 100%. September of 1997, he's driving the white Corvette, and he is stopped for a traffic violation near East Sprague Avenue, the strip of town where all the sex workers work. He is not cited. In November of 97, Yates is cited for speeding in his Corvette about 2.5 miles from where a slain woman's body was found just 3 weeks earlier. Daria Sue Scott, who was 29, was found November 5th, 1997. Her decomposed body was discovered by a man walking his dog off Hangman Valley Road. 2 plastic bags were found in her shallow grave, and the cause of death is 2 gunshot wounds to the head. DNA from Yates was matched to semen found in her body. Melinda Mercer, who was 24, was found December 7th, 1997 on South 50th Street in Tacoma. 4 plastic bags covered her head. The cause of death is 3 gunshot wounds to the head. Mercer and Connie LaFontaine Ellis were not part of the Spokane indictment. So it's going to be indicted later. These 2 murders aren't going to be part of that because it was outside of the Spokane jurisdiction. But so we go back to what we were talking about earlier, is I could not find anything definitive about how those first 2 were killed. We're probably just going to go gunshot at this point now.
He has an MO.
Yeah, it's definitely not a lot of... he doesn't seem like somebody who's got what it takes to stab someone in the stomach 55 times. I think that he's very get him on the knees and execution style. Not that makes it any better or any worse. Just he's definitely got his way, and he seems to be set in it.
What's usually the intriguing part is if they're finding matching DNA inside the vaginal cavity, right? Mm-hmm. If that happened before or after.
Very true. Either way. So Sean Johnson, who's 36, is going to be found December 18th, 1997. Her decomposing remains were also found off Hangman Valley Road, and the 2 plastic bags cover her head. So we're seeing this other thing, too, where all of the bags are being, or all the heads are being...
Asphyxiation kind of thing.
Yeah, so brings us to question number 6. Eventually, we'll find out the reason of these bags. What is it? Is it A, his calling card, B, for suffocation or asphyxiation purposes, C, makes the bodies cleaner to move, or D, he didn't want to see their faces? John says cleaner to move. Steve says didn't want to see their faces. Well, the reason he's doing this is because that goddamn Corvette. He doesn't want to get it dirty. You were right, John. It does make him cleaner to move. He's moving them after he's killed them.
Yep.
The plastic bags are keeping the juices in there. He's letting them marinate. You need a lot of help, Steve. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
We do have 2 remaining questions, so we've got some. You've got some time. There's no doubt, and we're just gonna be kind of rolling on some murders here for a minute. So we're gonna just kind of let's everybody soak some things in. The cause of deaths to Sean Johnson were 2 gunshot wounds to the head, and semen found in her body was matched to Yates' DNA. What do you know? Laurel Watson, who was 31, was found December 26, 1997, in a gravel pit near Hangman Valley Road. 3 plastic bags covered her head. The cause of death, 2 gunshot wounds to the head, and non-indigenous vegetation, peanut shells, packing styrofoam, and chips of broken concrete were found covering her body that would eventually match debris found in Yates' backyard. So this is kind of one of the bigger breaks, is that she's covered in a bunch of shit that is not found where she was found. Mm-hmm. And some great police work detecting it back. Additionally, semen was found in her body that was, of course, matched to Yates. Sonny G. Oster was 41 and found February 8th, 1998. Her remains are found in a wooded area in western Spokane County. 3 plastic bags cover her head, and the cause of death is 2 gunshot wounds to the head. And, you guys, believe this shit, semen is found in her body and matched to Yates' DNA. Linda Mabin, 34, found April 1st, 1998. Her decomposed body was found in a shallow grave 50 yards from the Wason and McClenahan crime scene. 2 plastic bags cover the victim's head. Cause of death is 1 single gunshot wound to the head, and semen in her body was matched to Robert Yates' DNA. Additionally, non-indigenous plant trimmings were also covering her body. They were matched once more to vegetation in Yates' backyard. March of 98, Yates buys a home a mile away from their rental house. So they're moving on up, dude. It's happening for Robert Yates. In May of 98, he sells his Corvette to Rita Jones in Spokane. Michelin Durning, who was 47, was found July 7th, 1998, under a hot tub cover by a transient in an area frequented by sex workers in Spokane's East Central neighborhood. The cause of death is a gunshot wound to the head, and unlike the other victims, she was seen alive a week before her body was discovered. The others were found weeks or sometimes months after they disappeared. So maybe he was spooked this time, he got rushed for whatever reason. He seems to do a very good job leaving his bodies out of the way. We're 9 murders in, and they've all taken months and months and months to find. Now, I don't know if that means he moved them there months. I don't know what the deal is really, but he seems to be very good at hiding them. And for whatever reason, this particular one, so that always stands out to me too, because I think I even put a note in here, like maybe a copycat, maybe just someone who coincidentally is lining up with similar MOs, that because of the hysteria around what's clearly happening, it was just kind of lumped in with that. So
was the semen found in the vaginal cavity?
Let's see what we've got here.
What is with you and saying vaginal cavity?
Because have you not said that?
I believe that I have. Maybe not. Maybe you said it, John. Get it out of your head, dude.
Just say vagina. Jesus.
Let's see. Durning remains the only victim who is not raped and was not transported away from the murder scene and dumped in the outskirts of the city. So she wasn't taken out to the hills. She wasn't raped.
Probably because there's someone that they know, and especially since these all people taken or last seen around high sex trafficking areas or, sex worker areas, they're a little bit more cautious, and maybe she freaked out and
he just got it done quick.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
And didn't take the body out of the area.
I always just wonder when there's that, just like that
did
one.
That hot tub cover come? Can we talk about that? Like, where did that come from?
Just some abandoned hotel nearby. So Christine Smith was robbed and assaulted by a man in his van on August 1st, 1998. The suspect, after being unable to perform sexually, robbed her of $40 that he just paid her and shot her. He went for one in the back of the head, and I don't know if she moved or he didn't take a good shot, was trying to rush out of the way, but she was only grazed by the gunshot to her head and managed to escape and report the attack to police. She didn't report it to police initially. She went to the hospital because she believed that she had been struck in the head with a crowbar or a baseball bat or something. She remembers hearing a loud bang and having a really bad pain in the back of her head. So she goes to the hospital, and she was treated the night of the assault for an abrasion to the head, but the hospital is not even aware that it was a gunshot wound because she thought she got hit, so I don't think they looked too much into it. She was treated. She contacted police on April 18th after recognizing Yates as her attacker from a mugshot published in the Spokesman Review. Police found bloodstains, a .25 caliber bullet casing, and a bullet encrusted in the roof of a van similar to the one described by Smith that was once owned by Yates. So he's fucking ditched this thing, but they found it and are finding some pretty goddamn incriminating things inside. So September 24th of this very same year, a composite sketch of the serial killer is released in Spokane. Connie LaFontaine Ellis, who was 35, was found October 13th in a ditch near the 1700 block of 108th Street in South Tacoma. Her decomposed body had 3 plastic bags covering her head, and the cause of death was one gunshot wound to the head. And like Melinda Mercer, Yates will probably be charged with her death in Pierce County. November of 98, Yates and a known prostitute are pulled over by a police officer at 1:25 a.m. near the area where women are disappearing and their bodies are being found. He's driving a Honda Civic. He says the sex worker is a friend's daughter he is driving home. 2 days later, his middle daughter complains to police that her father assaults her all the time. He is charged with misdemeanor assault. In December of 1998, he's hired at Kaiser Aluminum Plant and takes a job as a replacement worker and works as a carbon setter and a very physical job and trains as a crane operator. So he's crossing the picket lines to get this job. He's desperate, I think, at this point for anything that he can do. He's supposedly beating his daughter. That's going to bring us to question number 7. These guys, we'll see how it goes for him. And what's going to be the repercussions of these assault charges that his daughter has put against him? Is he going to get probation, community service, 7 days in jail, or no official charges will be filed? Probation, community service, 7 days in jail, no charges filed.
I'm gonna go with D again since it's worked out so well for me so far.
No charges filed.
I'm going to go D as well.
John's going to go D as well, and you guys are both going to score points because Robert Yates, smooth operator. He does not get any charges filed against him. In January of 1999, he's told the misdemeanor charge for striking his daughter will be dropped if he doesn't do anything similar for 2 years, but no official probation. Just hey, fucking got our eyes on you, all right? Just don't whap your daughter in the face again. She told us. Later that year in 99, he applies to fly helicopters for the only air ambulance service in Spokane. From what I understand, he goes into this place and they say, what's your experience? And he tells them that they're like, great. We don't have any positions available now, but we will definitely reach out to you when we do. And he's like, you're probably going to want to make a position for me. Like he just goes in ultra pompous. Like, trust me, when you see me on the fucking chopper, you're going to want to hire me. So,
when the chopper goes up, the panties come down.
And that's the Robert Lee Yates way. So in September the same year, 99, investigators interview Yates in connection with the serial slayings. He is one of hundreds interviewed and asked for blood samples. Yates refuses to give blood sample for the DNA test. Red flag? I don't know. Hundreds of interviews going out, though. I don't know. January 2000, detectives tracked down the white Corvette parked in the garage. So that white Corvette was actually purchased by one of the police officer's sisters. That woman we talked about. So she kind of remembers, my sister bought this white Corvette from this guy. She said it was kind of fucking weird. Let's take a look at this thing. So they track down the Corvette, and they get to take some carpet fibers from it. And in March 26th to April 1st, during this time, Yates is training with his National Guard unit in Eagle County, Colorado. And from the 2nd to the 15th of 2000, he trains with the National Guard at the Yakima Training Center. Or Yakima, I don't know. April 5th, 2000, the fibers removed from the white Corvette match fibers found on Jennifer Joseph's shoes and towel found near her body, police say. April 10th of 2000, a search warrant is signed for the Corvette. Police later say they found a button matching one missing from Joseph's jacket and traces of blood on a seat and seatbelt buckle. April 18th, he is arrested on the way to work for the murder of Jennifer Joseph. They use the fibers, buttons, and blood from the Corvette as evidence. In May 18th, he's charged with 7 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. And July 17th, he's charged with 2 counts of murder in Pierce County for the Tacoma killings. And for these, I cannot tell you what happens yet, because October 19th, he pleads guilty to 13 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder as a part of a plea bargain to save him from the death penalty. So that's his plea bargain. What's going to be his sentence then? Question number 8. Do they give him life in prison? This is specific. Life in prison. The death penalty anyway? Can they do that? I mean, I've been meaning to ask somebody who might fucking know. Say there's a plea bargain in place. This guy says, I don't want to die. I'll give you the location of these bodies. And they go, for sure. He gives up the location. They go, fuck you anyway. Death penalty.
Nope.
Can't do
So
that.
the way how plea bargains work is that's what the prosecution, like the DA, is offering. So they can't go back on that. Because what they do is when they do a plea bargain, it's all paperwork.
Okay.
And so if you want to plea out of it, you sign that paperwork, and you can't just pull that out because now it's a contract. Before he does all that stuff, he'd sign it. And so that's all legal. If you were to go back on that, you would technically be
setting him free,
setting him free, and then you'd get charged for that stuff because that's all official documents. It's just like lying on your taxes and shit. It's illegal. You don't do that shit. So you can't go back on that.
So then that takes away one of the options, which is the death penalty. So I'll just give you guys, does he get A, life in prison, C, 60 years with no possibility for parole, or D, 408 years? Life, 60 years, no possibility, 408 years.
So we'll just go A, B, and C?
Sure.
Okay.
No, I would still like it as A, C, and D, please.
Okay.
What do you got?
I got C.
408 years?
Oh, is that what it was? I thought that was D.
Yeah, okay. So 60 years,
Yeah.
no possibility?
Yep. Not all jokes are good. I'm going with A.
He's going with A, life in prison. No one's scoring on this one because October 26, 2000, he is sentenced by the judge to 408 years in Spokane prison.
I kind of went on there. It's going to be like a slap on the face. Like, he won't live past 60 years, and he's got no chance of parole anyways. So
Fuck him.
Yeah.
It's
they stacked up all the charges for each count.
408 years. I actually recorded an episode like that last night where I believe he had 10 killings. They gave him 25 years for each, so they gave him a 250-year sentence.
That's how it usually goes.
Yeah. So no one's scoring on that one, and I believe there is one more question and then an artistic challenge. Steve, you got to score on this next one and win the artistic challenge, and it will be a tie.
All right, I got this.
All right.
It's all good.
In 2001, and we're getting pretty close to the end here too. We kind of blew through this, which is which is nice, guys. That means we got to cover this fuck face and really really kind of just glaze over him, which I really intend to do most of the time with these fuck faces, but I guess that's what the show is all about. And the show must go on, as they say. In May 2001, Linda and the kids remain in contact with Yates. Linda says she cannot divorce him. I still love him.
She's traditional.
Yes, how traditional. He's 50, so she's 47 at this time. Their kids are adults. He murdered just tons of sex workers, admitted to it. Anyway. 2002, August 12th, Pierce County trial begins for the murder of Melinda Mercer and Connie LaFontaine Ellis. September 20th, the jury convicts Yates on 2 counts of aggravated first-degree murder. What will he be sentenced to here? Is it life in prison, the death penalty, 60 years no possibility, or 40 years with possibility?
I'm sticking with life.
He's going life.
I'm going to say he's going to get the death penalty.
John says he's going to get the death penalty. Well, on October 4th, Robert Lee Yates is sentenced to death by lethal injection. John locks it up with that one, guys.
I mean, that was how it was going to have to wrap up, right?
That's kind of what I was.
He out with a plea bargain, and the other one, the other county, the other jurisdiction is like, no, fuck that. We're going to clean up the job that you guys refuse to do.
So on November 4th of 2002, he arrives on death row at Washington State Penitentiary, where he once worked as a guard. It has come full circle. He's still alive today. He is still married. Robert Lee Yates, guys. There's a lot there. Let's still do those artistic challenges, though, Greg. Let's get you some drawings here.
So this is very Breaking Bad-esque.
I'm going to get these up to Greg.
Hold on.
I'm gonna give me a second here. I'm gonna take my headphones. Keep it on. All right, Greg. Can you see it?
I can. He's a dick face.
Yeah. And then we got.
And then another dick.
Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah. Well, let's just add on to mine real quick, though.
There's a Corvette there.
Okay. Yeah, but there's the panty dropper chopper in that one.
Yeah, you got the panty dropper chopper. So.
See, you can't tell in mine because I'm a terrible artist, but I actually like to picture my Yates in a tuxedo T-shirt, and that's what he is currently wearing.
I am severely disappointed that there's no severed dick in the background of either of those, so I'm deducting points from both of you, but. I gotta go with dick face. Somebody, just because one time I judged an artistic challenge and somebody super bad dick like that with the dick in the vest, and it was a cop dick, I think.
So, Steve, you're gonna get some points. It's not gonna matter for your total, but
it matters for my self-esteem.
Yep. So you're gonna get to 1,000, which is nice.
Hey, 1,000 points for dick face.
A G-bar total for the dick face. Man. So that was Robert Lee Yates, you guys. It was probably one of my more dry runs because he doesn't give up a whole lot.
No.
A lot of them do. He's still a family man. He's still visited in prison by his wife and children, and he's not going to go sit out there. And he was in the documentary that I watched, they when the police go through and they started really kind of digging into shit when they arrested him and they really got to go through his house with the fine-tooth comb, they saw his, he's got military medals on the wall and he's got pictures of him in all these countries and badass helicopters with his whole crew. And then they're realizing that holy shit, we're here investigating a fucking military hero for these 13 serial killings. They said it was surreal. They felt like they were doing something wrong when they realized who he was. And then it kind of all comes together that actually was who he was. And it said it was, it was kind of career changing for them that, you can't assume just because of somebody's accolades or what they've done that, so it was kind of an interesting turn of events. So I think probably by far, as far as I've covered, the most successful in an outside normal world position of any of the serial killers that have come across. Greg, can you think of anybody off the top of your head who's lived a pretty normal life? I mean, as far as this goes, this guy was pretty.
What's that? What was the dude who worked at the hardware store? Was it Ed Gein? He tried to live a normal life. Like he worked at a hardware store and shit, and then like even went out with the lady who owned the hardware store.
Yeah, we didn't cover Ed Gein yet, though.
Oh.
And technically not a serial killer, more of a grave robber.
And a do-it-yourselfer.
Right. I've heard about the nipple belt. That's one of the most infamous items.
I was thinking the hand gloves and the skin lampshade. The nipple belt's good, but the we're probably not going to cover them, so I'm not going to worry about it.
We may. Eventually, we're going to run out.
Yeah,
we have a million episodes to get to,
and
we're only on 31 or 32 here, so
of 1 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of episodes to go, dude. Ed Gein might go down. Right on. Is there anything you guys want to share or throw out there? Any channels? Anything you guys want to plug, or anyone you want to say hello to that might be listening in?
I'd like to say hello to my wife, Katie, and everybody else. Go fuck yourself.
All right. Well, hey, Katie, and go fuck yourself, everybody. John?
Keep your dicks attached to yourself. I don't want to see that anymore.
Yeah,
John sends you out with some parting words of wisdom, sage advice. John, thank you. Co-host Greg.
So do I get a second Pez dispenser?
You can keep that one.
Okay, cool. I get to take the championship belt home.
Yeah. Congratulations on your returning win. Co-host Greg, is there anything you'd like to add to the mix before we get out of here tonight?
Just because I thought about it in the very beginning of this whole thing and I forgot to say anything, please go to www.myspace.com/Avenue 384.
Oh, this motherfucker.
Does that even exist still?
He probably looked it up right now.
I didn't, but I should.
So you guys visit and
sight unseen.
Yeah, no, it's gone. I looked.
Yeah,
that was where it all was.
Yeah.
And it is still there.
Oh my goodness. So if you guys want to hear what we sounded like when we sounded like this,
ours is gone. Theirs is there.
Well, congratulations on your promotion, Greg.
Thanks.
Congratulations on your win, John.
Thanks.
Congratulations on fucking getting to be in our presence, Steven.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 31 of the Serial Chillers podcast. All right, you guys, that was episode 31. Thank you guys so much for listening. Robert Yates was the classic case of, I would have never thought he could do this. And he did, in fact, do this. Again, thank you to John for the crazy story, which sadly is not our first severed penis story. Also, thank you for clearing up the plea bargain thing. That's nice to know, and I'll be making better questions based off that information. Lastly, congratulations for your second win in as many tries, dude. You're too good at this. Steven, thank you for coming on. Thank you for the coffee. You're welcome anytime. Try not to come with John so you don't lose next time. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, everybody, please reach out. You can do it in so many ways. On Facebook, we're just Serial Chillers Podcast. Instagram is @SerialChillersPodcast. The Twitter is @ChillersPodcast. The email is serialchillerspodcast@gmail.com. You can call or text the voicemail line at 1-805-666-2513. You can get merchandise at serialchillerspodcast.threadless.com. T-shirts, mugs, notebooks, things of that nature. I do have some stickers here. We've been kind of running that low-key and running it through Venmo or PayPal. So if anybody wants stickers, reach out to me. I have those, and I'll ship them straight to you. Patreon is the biggest of all. A little bit of support here, you guys. I really appreciate it. Some people are coming in and dropping, even as small as $1 a month, really is greatly appreciated and greatly helpful because the show isn't insanely expensive to run, but it does cost. So every little dollar helps. I've got 4 new shout outs. I think I got Athena on the last one, but I just want to make sure. So thank you, Athena. Thank you, James. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, Mara or Mora. I want to make sure I got that right. So Mara or Mora, thank you so much. Everybody who gives to the Patreon does get the shout out on the show. They get a sticker sent right to their house and a big old thank you straight from me. So appreciate it, everybody. Patreon is what keeps the show running. All of today's research came from a Radford University timeline, as usual. Fucking rad. Radford, Wikipedia, Murderpedia, and a documentary called The Spokane Serial Killer. It was a 2013 documentary. The music in the show today is by myself or co-host Greg. Thank you guys all so much for listening. I'm really excited for season 2 kicking off in some big ways. Check out next week. We're going to have the ladies from True Crime Storytime, Casey and Sam, on competing. Who wins out of that one? Ooh, I don't know. So episode 32 has something to look forward to already. Some crazy Aussies. All right. So episode 32 will be next Friday. Thank you guys so much for hanging around on this one. And remember, don't talk to strangers.